streaming now. Should be available in about 20 to 30
Oh,
seconds.
yeah.
Got Leanne here as well.
So hey everyone, we're just going to give it a few more minutes and to wait for some people to join, and then we'll give it a start.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to our first ever Soaring Health TV event. We're so excited to be with you guys today, just to share a couple of tips to make sure that you're staying fit, strong, and healthy during this lockdown. My name is Dr. John, and I'm a sports and family chiropractor at Soaring Health. I'm also joined with our two of our awesome physios, Sandra and Neela.
So hi guys, my name is Sandra. So Hume City Council Leisure Centres ensure our community have what they need to lead a healthy and active life, and this doesn't just stop because they're closed. To help boost wellbeing at a time when you can't physically come into the centre, they've used us at Soaring Health to boost this Facebook Live to talk about staying fit, strong and healthy during COVID-19, which will form part of their digital services while they're closed. By giving you the tools you need to achieve your health and wellbeing goals from the comfort of your own home. We with the Leisure Centre hope to make a real and lasting difference. So I'm going to hand it back over to John, and he's going to talk us through our presentation.
So we're all facing unprecedented time, and it can affect us both mentally and physically. So we thought just to put something together for you guys to help you through this time. I'm going to be talking about posture, ergonomics, and just share a couple of useful tips while working from home. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask us, just pop them in the chat. Okay, so what is posture? How do you define posture? Posture is the position in which we hold our bodies in while standing, sitting, or lying down. Now, to be able to have a good posture, you have to understand that you've got three essential curves in the spine. You've got the neck curve, the middle back curve, and then the lower back curve. If you have an exaggeration in any of these curves or any of these areas, you will alter what we call a neutral spine or a neutral joint position. This neutral joint position allows us to put the least amount of pressure on a spinal joint or its surrounding structures. Okay, so the question is, how do you even know that you've got good posture, or how do you even check that you have good posture? Firstly, you want to check your 5 main kinetic checkpoints, and these are your ear in relation to your shoulder in relation to the hip in relation to the knee, and knee in relation to your foot. Now, ideally, you want them to be lining up. So if you draw a line at the top of the ear going all the way down, you would want them to be lining up. Of course, no one has a perfect posture, but you always try to maintain a good one. Now, there are some negative effects from poor posture that I commonly see in practice. Let's go through it. So you can have neck, back, shoulder pain from poor posture. Headaches as well is a big thing. I often see clients coming in with what we call an anterior head posture. So that means the head is sitting a little bit forward like that. So that puts unnecessary strain on the joints in the neck and can lead to headaches, as well as misaligned spine. What is misaligned spine? You've got muscles around your spine. So when these muscles are tight, they pull on the vertebrae, so it can put pressure on the joints or its surrounding structures, or even the discs as well. One more is poor digestion, so it can lead to GI symptoms such as heartburn. So if you can imagine with me, if you're sitting for too long, hunched over like that, you're going to be just squashing your internal organs, as well as poor circulation. So that means less oxygen coming to the tissues, such as muscles, so that can lead to muscle dysfunction. Lastly, restricted breathing. If you are sitting like that for a long time, you're going to have tight pecs, tight chest muscles, and muscles between the ribs. So it won't make the rib cage expand as it should be, and then you can have restricted breathing. Okay, so let's go through some posture tips just to undo that. So most of us are forced to be working from home, and as a result of that, we're spending prolonged amount of time sitting at our workstation. So it is very, very important to have good ergonomic monitor, chair, and desk as well. Poor posture can lead to unnecessary strain on the muscles, bones, joints, and ligaments in the spine, as we said, and can lead to health problems. So if you're not sitting properly on the chair, you can alter what we call the neutral spine, as we said. So if you can see here, the two photos. So the first one is what we call an anterior pelvic tilt. So that means your pelvis is rocking forward. So you can have some muscle imbalances between the hip flexors and the back extensors, and ultimately that will lead to some sort of back pain. Same thing with the posterior pelvic tilt, which means the pelvis rocked backwards, and it can have some effects as well. So let's go through the correct sitting posture. On the right hand side here, let's start from the bottom and work our way up. So ideally, you want to keep both feet on the floor. Do not cross your legs while sitting down. Your ankles should be in front of your knees, and just keep a small gap between the back of the knees and the chair. Tuck your chin in just to avoid this anterior head posture. Avoid sitting down for too long, maybe just every half an hour, 40 minutes, get up, have a walk, stretch, drink water, and then maybe come back. Last but not least for me, the key thing about posture that it takes a lot of practice, and it's not something that you can do overnight. You really have to work on it, and you have to practice regularly, and just be aware of your posture, and eventually it will become a habit like anything else. Now I'll hand it over to Neela. She'll go through some exercises and tips for you guys.
Thanks,
Over to
John. With many of us working from home and with most social and outdoor activities officially on pause, it can be tempting to stay in bed or retreat to our couch and settle in for a long haul. But that's the opposite of what we should be doing. Instead, it's time to figure out how you can incorporate exercise into your routine. With COVID-19 restrictions in place, you're still permitted to leave your home to exercise. Head out for a run, a circuit in the park, or a gentle walk. Make sure that you stay mindful of social distancing guidelines when you encounter other people. So here are some tips for making the most of working from home. Tip number 1, if you feel that you lack time to do exercise, select activities that require minimum time, such as brisk walking, jogging. You can do this during your lunch breaks. Make sure to add in some stretches. And if you feel like you're pressed for time, you can do a quick 10-minute workout like a HIIT, which Sandra will explain later on. You can always plan ahead. So look at the end of your day or your week and look at your schedule and find at least 3 30-minute slots to do your exercise, which gives you a visual idea of what to expect. If you're super busy, you can always multitask, read while riding a stationary exercise bike, or listen to lectures and podcasts while you're walking. Tip number 2, use your social influence. Connect to virtual online classes. If this isn't an option, you can always get creative, come up with new exercises and do them home or online with your families or friends, which I've done just before this live. Always plan ahead. Slot in some time with your family, partner, and find time when both of you are free to go for your exercise or do your walk. You can always take your pet out to your local park. Tip number 3, if you feel like you're not motivated, you can always find things that you enjoy doing. For example, dancing, yoga, running, and try varying your activities to keep you interested. Try monitoring your progress. It's not what's always on the scale. So try taking heaps of photos, keep a diary, a journal, and also set reminders on your phone. During times like this, gym and pool are closed and it's hard time meeting up with friends, social group who can support you for your goals. So similar to your social influence tips, have a visual board, add pictures, quotes, reminders of why you want to do this, write your goals down, join a virtual fitness class, Zoom or Skype group lounge exercise with your friends. If you feel that you lack resources, select activities that require minimum equipment, such as walking, jogging, jumping ropes, climbing stairs. If you don't have access to dumbbells, you can always get TheraBands, fill empty bags with books, use empty milk bottles, fill them up with water, do some bodyweight exercises. There are also some great ideas you can get from social media to get you started. Thank you. And here are some household items you can use. Anything that's lying around, bag of rice, easily 15 to 20 kilos right there. You can use a kilo of sugar, make sure it's properly sealed, empty milk bottle, even the carry care tin, that'll be good as well. And now I hand it over to Sandra.
So like Neela mentioned, we can make the most of working from home and still keep active. So I'm going to talk you through how we can have no gym and still have no worries. So the first thing we're going to start off with is looking at things that we can do with minimal equipment. So Neela briefly touched on this, but we can try bodyweight exercises. So in case you don't know what those are, it's any exercise that uses just your body weight to do. So you don't need any equipment for this. And some of these include squats and all their variations, lunges, push-ups, planks, sit-ups, anything that you're only using your body for. And you can usually work most muscle groups with these kind of exercises. If you have minimal equipment at home, you can also trial things such as some skipping ropes, some little weights, some bands and a stepper, and just use those and incorporate them into your daily routine. And we'll talk about those just in a little bit. You can also use YouTube and social media. So this is a great time to try new things and reach out to the Soaring Health Instagram for some ideas. And make sure to check out the Splash Center and other Hume Center pages for some free workout ideas. They have a heap on there. You can also try some yoga or Pilates. So just like John mentioned, we're sitting a lot at home recently and working from home, and we tend to get a bit tight, especially around our hip joints, our shoulders, just from being in that same position all the time. So other than just breaking it up and doing some exercise, you can try some exercises that will give you a good stretch and also some really good body awareness and fine tuning those little body movements that you might not be aware of. And then you have to obviously give yourself the chance to recover. So you have to give your body the right nutrition and the time to recover. There's no point going all out for one day and then not being able to work out for the next 4. You need to make sure that you take small incremental steps and find what's right for you. And Neela quickly mentioned a HIIT workout beforehand, so I don't want to miss that. So HIIT just stands for high intensity interval training. And essentially you're doing high intensity workouts in little intervals with small rests in between. So rests are usually 15 to 20, 30 seconds. So you do an exercise for as much as you can, either the most amount of reps or in a certain time period, and then you move on to the next. So this is a good way to get your heart rate up very quickly and incorporate both a cardio aspect and a strength training aspect in. And then some hacks. So there's heaps of apps all around on the Apple Store and on Google Play. So make sure to check out the Hume Fit app that has a bunch of recipes and meal ideas and also some exercise stuff. So the recipes on there are also Heart Foundation approved. So that'll be good for a lot of you. So for pedometer apps as well, so you can track your steps and your movement and just your activity general day to day. And you can also use some fitness apps that are tailored for certain programs. So something like the Couch to 5K, I'm sure some of you might have heard of this. It's an incremental running program. So you start from running a minute a day and then you end up doing about 25 to 30 minutes so you can get the 5K run done all in one go. So I mentioned some of these simple equipments. So we've got some dumbbells, a skipping rope, a stepper, some TheraBand or resistance bands. Physios love to call these TheraBands, we're sorry. Some medicine balls and a Swiss ball. So you can incorporate a lot of these exercises into your routine. And like we said before, just reach out to the Hume Fit app, our Soaring Health page and blog, and also the Hume Centre pages, and you'll find a lot of exercise ideas that you can incorporate these for. Now, we'll talk about the frequency and the kind of exercise we need to do. So the FIT principles, which stands for frequency, intensity, type of activity, and time, these are principles that physiotherapists and other health professionals that prescribe exercise use as a guide. So essentially, they give us a breakdown of what you should be doing and how often. So when we're looking at cardiovascular exercise, so anything that brings your heart rate up to about 85% of its maximum capacity. It's really technical, but you don't have to stress about that too much. Essentially, you should be doing 30 minutes roughly every day of anything that's cardiovascular, or at least 4 to 5 days a week. And it should be something that is getting your heart rate up for 30 minutes continuously. I know that's a bit hard for a lot of us at the moment, especially with the weather changing or working from home and having shorter lunch breaks. So if you can even get 3 10-minute increments or 2 15-minute increments, that's completely fine. And if you can't leave the house, even if you're pacing in your backyard or pacing around your home, don't worry about it. Activity is still good. And then looking at potentially some stretches and strength training. So strength training, you should be roughly doing it 3 to 4 times a week, and you should focus on the main muscle groups. So don't stress too much about working out your biceps and your triceps, just focus on working out your leg as a whole, your arm as a whole, your core and back together. And these should be roughly done on 2 to 3 non-consecutive days. So make sure to give your body that correct rest like we talked about before. And here are some ideas for the amount of reps that you can do. So you can look at about 15 or so and 1 to 3 sets, depending on the weight that you're using. And always make sure to listen to your body. So your body is quite intuitive. If you feel like anything's hurting during the exercise, make sure to stop and always consult your physio, your chiro, or your physician if something is feeling wrong, and make sure that we want you to have an injury-free experience. We don't want any injuries coming in. And then looking at some stretches. So these are a good way to incorporate some meditation, mindfulness, and also getting your body, mind-body connection really good. So looking at yoga and Pilates as well. And then you can also just do static stretching. So that just means a stretch where you hold it for 15 to 30 seconds, and you can do 10 minutes of this a day. And then I'll pass it back on to Neela.
So just to recap, finding ways to get creative with COVID-19. Step 1, sit less. Take breaks from your smartphones, computers, tablet every 20 to 30 minutes, just like John said. Take at least 1 to 2 minute walk around the house or play with your pet. Step 2, make your stairs your new best friend. So stair climbing can save you so much time. You can do 3 to 4 minutes of 20 seconds fast stair climbing to bump up your heart rate. Step 3, maintain strength using your body weight. So you can do any body weight home-based exercises such as push-ups, squats, sit-ups, planks, mountain climber, burpees, the list goes on. Step 4, spending more time with your pets and playtime with your kids. Spending quality time with your kids and pets can actually get you huffing and puffing in no time. And step 5, dance away the COVID-19 blues. Dancing is an excellent way to keep you fit. So there's lots of new and up and coming apps. So this will give everyone a chance to break some new dance moves, which I have been doing. So that concludes our presentation for today. Here are some resources if you're interested in, and we will now open up for discussion. So please make sure you check out our blog. Thank you.
So we've got some resources here, like Neela mentioned, and the floor is yours, everyone. So we've just had a question about looking at some apps for diet. So we would like to redirect you mainly to our dietitian. We're kind of more the people who look at exercise and movement. So if you have any questions about diet, you can always message our Soaring Health Instagram or Facebook page, and you'll get an answer or someone will help redirect you there. You can also check out our Instagram for a bunch of diet ideas. So Liz talks about nutrition and how to incorporate that into a healthy lifestyle, including some tips about pasta and how much we should eat. Unfortunately, there is a limit. You can always give the clinic a call if you want to consult a dietitian, and also the Hume Fit website has a good amount, not the website, the app has a good amount of recipes that are quite approved for a lot of people with different dietary requirements.
So we have another question saying, how long should we be sitting on our desk when working from home? Like I've mentioned before, 20 to 30 minutes, and get up, do some stretching. But if you feel like you're pressed for time, maybe give it at least an hour, then get up for stretch, do a quick walk, 1 to 2 minute walk. Yeah, unless John wants to add in anything as well.
Effective cover rule.
Thanks.
And just going back to the question before, I did miss a section. And just also make sure to speak to anyone at the leisure centres, on the staff on the floor, and they can help redirect you as well. So we've got another question about taking break with kids. So Neela touched on about this, but what we mean by that is just looking at finding activities that you can both do. So if your kids are a bit younger, maybe running around the house or doing some dance. There's so many videos on YouTube of a lot of like singers and dancers that kids are obsessed with recently. I know Jojo Siwa is one of them, and she's got some very colorful things on there. So you can try that. There's also going for a walk, and if you've got a pet, you can bring them along too, or just walking around the park. So you're still allowed to visit parks, you just can't touch the equipment, unfortunately. So yeah, just trying to keep as active as possible. And if you've got kids, I'm sure they're keeping you on your toes anyway.
Now
So-
we've got another question. It says, I struggle with my posture. How can I start? I always tell my clients to start with just general range of motion exercises for the neck, mid back and lower back, just to get the movement in, and then just stretch your muscles, and then just go from there. As we said, when working from home, don't be sitting for too long, have frequent breaks, just stretch it out and drink water, and then just come back.
Is there any more questions just before we wrap up? Maybe we'll just give it a little minute. Alrighty, so I think there's no more questions left. Thanks so much for everyone who tuned in. I hope you've gained something from what we've shared today. And if you need any help or some tips, just make sure to check out the Hume Leisure Centre pages, check out Soaring Health on Facebook and Instagram, and our blog on our website. And yeah, that's all.
And thumbs up if you want more videos. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, guys, for having us.
Thank you.